No! Greetings, everyone. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that you are here. Today, we're actually going to be playing a deck that I played in a tournament on the, I think it was the 29th of January. I was able to take first place in Stream League 8, but that was a best-of-3 tournament. So my best-of-3 deck was built specifically for the metagame I expected to see at that tournament, and it turned out well. I think I made the correct call. So this deck is actually an adapted version of that deck specifically for best of one, trying to cover some of our bases while also being able to stay aggressive. What is it that we're trying to do here? Well, we are trying to cast Phyrexian Obliterators and punish opponents. Right now, you're seeing a lot of Unholy Heat. The card is just really, really strong. 1 mana, destroy target creature or planeswalker is basically what it says, but it uses damage to do it. Deals 6 damage anywhere. Well, our opponent wants to be using 1 mana, deal 6 damage style cards. Phyrexian Obliterator is a really good answer to that. That would force them to sacrifice 6 permanents to make that exchange. One that we're okay with, if they want to do that, just for all future opponents. And so if you're expecting to see a lot of Unholy Heat, this is a fine place to be. So beyond that, what else are we trying to do? Well, our other primary way of winning the game is just attacking with 3 mana 7/6s. Rotting Regisaur, folks. Strong card. You just turn Rotting Regisaur sideways, and you can get some number of wins, right? Lot of decks just have to start chumping it right away. So then beyond that, we have some relatively aggressive creatures, many of which are lifelinking. Gifted Aetherborn, Subversive Acolyte can actually become lifelink. Then Murderous Rider is both a removal spell and a lifelinking creature, and the Nighthawk Scavenger also lifelink as well as a flying Death Toucher. Why so much lifelink here? Well, specifically for the ladder, and specifically the reason we're doing this now, is early in the season, you expect a lot of people to try to climb the ladder using aggressive decks, mono reds, and maybe some, red variant, type decks, storms, and things like that. A lot of those are Delirium based, going to be using Unholy Heats, and just generically aggressive. If you're trying to race, it's difficult to race lifelinkers, so we're going to be doing those things as well. We have a couple other key cards, and you'll note 3 toughness, 3 toughness, 3 toughness, 3 toughness, 5 toughness, 6 toughness, respectively. Cry of the Carnarium, a main deck board sweeper we're able to put in here because we have all 3 toughness creatures and don't care about them, right? Sap Vitality also punishes the opponent for having 3 and less toughness creatures by being able to deal 3 damage to those, and importantly, give creatures in our hand perpetually +3/+0. A creature in our hand, I should say. So it can turn one of our 2/3s or whatever into a legitimate attacking creature. Want to fire off a zombie knight side of Murderous Rider, but I want to hold up Swift End. Well, okay, just Sap Vitality while you're waiting to cast it, and boom, now it's a 5/3 when you cast it. And that's a strong attacker. 5/3 lifelinker for 3 is a strong attacker, right? And then a little bit more secret sauce. This was not in the tournament, but I think it's a fine card to add, particularly for the best of one meta. Enchanted creature gets +3/+1, has flying, and is a demon in addition to its other types. And you may cast Demonic Embrace from your graveyard by paying 3 life and discarding a card in addition to paying its other costs. So the idea is we have plenty of life to gain from all these different creatures. Paying a couple life, discarding a card, not a big deal, particularly not if we're giving our Rotting Regisaur +3/+0 on flying. It becomes or +3/+1. It becomes a 10/7 flying. It can be pretty difficult to deal with. So looking forward to doing those things. Let's see if we can get out there, get some wins. All right, folks, here we are up against Raffineps. Good luck, Raffineps. And yeah, I think we're rolling into this. It's a little bit questionable as to whether or not we're supposed to Phyrexian Reclamation here, because if they turn 1 Thoughtseize and they're in a really, really, grindy thing, we would really want this. But I think the most likely scenario is we're going to be happiest if we just tapped land, allow our curve to be smooth. Yep. Do these things. Subversive Acolyte, pass the turn back up to Raffineps, and see what they have to say. Then this next turn, I think we will Castle Locthwain, get down a Phyrexian Reclamation, hold up Sap Vitality. Typically... Oh, interesting. Actually. Oh, boy! I think we're just gonna cry the Carnarium. Yeah. We could have potentially, like, Bloodchief's Thirsted, the Runaway Steamkin. Oh, boy. Look at this stuff. Alright, sure. So... Sap Vitality. Phyrexian Reclamation. Tie up the ball game, I guess. Anytime we can level this Subversive Acolyte up, and we might do that. Kind of planning on kind of doing that next turn. We don't want the Runaway Steamkin to get out of control, though. So, I feel like it was important to get rid of that. Maybe it was better to just... Okay. That's a good card. That's a good card. Okay. See what our opponent has to say about this. Opponent reading. Lets it through. Okay. Then... I guess... we're just going to kill a Fervent Champion... and pass. We want to do this as late as possible. We want them to cast a bunch of hasty creatures on their turn, lose a bunch of life, and then we kill the Rampaging Ferocidon. If they go to combat, just try to turn it sideways, we're going to kill it, obviously, you know. But if they're willing to lose a bunch of life to help us out, well, we'll let the Rampaging Ferocidon, yes, do some work for us too. Yep. Opponent loses a life. Opponent giving something else in their hand haste. Does that come down and attack as well? Ooh, okay. Well, I'm not particularly thrilled about that. Fine. Sure. Well, then let's just level up. Give it lifelink. Get in. Get down a Murderous Rider that is also a lifelinker. And they were just crushing us in the race, kinda. They are no longer just crushing us in the race. I wouldn't say that we're necessarily crushing them in the race either, because they might have the ability to remove both of these creatures. If we lose our lifelinkers, we're, you know, in a lot of trouble. But currently, we're crushing them in the race, right? If they Bone Crusher Giant and attack, you know, it's perpetually got haste. So if they Bone Crusher Giant attack, we will snap off a block with this Murderous Rider. Absolutely snap it off. No question about that. I think if it was that, you know, if our opponent had removal, they would have probably just gone for it. They have not. So, I think the most likely scenario is they're in just a little bit of trouble here, given the context situation. Okay, sure enough, Bone Crusher comes down. And they don't. Okay, well. Then... we're going to take 2, kill their Bone Crusher Giant, attack with 8 lifelinking damage. Our opponent certainly going to get in front of the 5/3, I would expect. But unless they can pair that with a shock, the game's already over. Oh, they can't. Yeah, we just went to 17. They have 3 cards in hand. You know, this is... yeah. Yeah, I don't like counting chickens. Well, okay. All right, hold on just a minute. Now, if this last card is Embercleave, maybe? You know, I don't know. But they have to block here. Oh, so they like to trade? I mean, you got it. Okay. Going to full control here, folks. This is a sweet little synergy. Murderous Rider... when it dies, it gets shuffled back into the library, but we're going to go ahead and return it to our hand in response to that trigger. Yeah. And We're going to cast it back out because we value the 5/3 lifelinker more than we value the removal spell side of it, so we're just going to get it right back onto the battlefield. It's true. We could have Subversive Acolyte, leveled it up sort of thing, but now they're just right back in this spot, you know? And they've got one card in hand. I mean, the Satyr can't block, so they're going to take some amount of damage anyway. Yeah. And how about another lifelinker, opponent? We dropped to 29. They're at 1. Not a great feeling, Raffineps. Not a great feeling, I'm sure. It was Embercleave! Oh, man. Yeah, it was Embercleave. It was closer, I guess, than it appeared, folks. We were, maybe I was counting my chickens just a little bit too early, but, you know, it worked out. It worked out. GG, opponent, GG. All right, folks, here we are up against Blinded. Good luck, Blinded. And, hand looks good. We'll still need to draw land, and we're on the play. Sometimes, folks, 2-land are on the play. You know, you never get to play Magic. But we have a strong start. We can either Sap Vitality or Gifted Aetherborn this turn, and, you know, or next turn, and that's good. We also were able to get down our Phyrexian Reclamation. So, oh boy, I was going to say, if our opponent's maybe trying to grind a little bit heavier, we already have a little bit of insurance against removal spell kind of thing. And our opponent is, you know, doing a little bit of that here, clearly. They're on blue and white. So we're going to try a Gifted Aetherborn. Sure enough, number 2 comes on down. Now, the card we're a little bit worried about is Divine Purge here. Considering our mana hasn't lined up the way we want. Alright, well, it is starting to line up now. Nighthawk Scavenger. Come on down. Does it. We would like another land, please. That's not a land deck. This is terrifying. We're worried about Settler Wreckage, so we're going to hold back a Nighthawk Scavenger. This is pretty tempting. Yeah, I was going to say, they almost have to fire it off if they've got it. But we're going to take this opportunity to grow our Phyrexian Obliterator. We will go and get a land. It's actually not the end of the world for us at all. Getting a second land kind of might have been all right, but we also want to be able to use the Phyrexian Reclamation to get back the Gifted Aetherborn, stuff like that. So, and it's true, Sap Vitality can get Planeswalkers, but it's more likely to just kind of rot in our hand forever unless we can fire it off anyway. So I think this is fine. Opponent. Definitely doing some considering over there. Thinking. Not actually considering. Consider has meaning in Magic, right? Alright, they take 2. We reclaim our Gifted Aetherborn and cast it. Do you have counter magic blinded? They do. Get absorbed. And get 3 mana. Or get 3 life. Teferi, the hero of Dominaria, comes on down.
We need to move quickly.
Draws a card, untaps 2 lands. So we're going to try and get our opponent to block here. Or, I mean, to use mana to prevent the damage. Alright, they don't. Fine. Bloodchief's Thirst. Absorb. Archmage's Charm. Okay. I mean, I'm not thrilled about that, but it is what it is. You know, Teferi would have to, you know, Teferi would lose his life if he tucked our Phyrexian Reclamation or Nighthawk Scavenger here, so. Oh, come on. Get out of here with that. We're here to play a reasonable game of Magic, and you're stinking approaching the second sun. How annoying. Alright, opponent takes some damage. We're going to end the turn, get our Gifted Aetherborn back. No! This gets... The reason this is the worst, folks, is it actually gets them closer to approach the second suns here. It digs 4 cards deep. I don't think there's any way to, you know, win the game now, honestly. It is nice that our opponent is actually trying to win the game, you know. So I'll give him that, but I'm not going to lie, it is disappointing. Come on. Oh, wow, they just have another Narset? Okay, well, we played Magic. GG. Alright, folks, we're up against Kais. Good luck, Kais. And yeah, I think this hand is fine. A little action light, no question. Always a little scared when you keep 4 landers, you know. The chances of flooding out, pretty high. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Alright, Hive of the Eye Tyrant, come on down. Opponent has an island and a Delver. Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and go Gifted Aetherborn. Pass the turn. Delver flips. Does not. Okay. An island comes down. Are we just up against blue or mono blue tempo? Fairy Seer going scrying. Goes top. That can't be good for us. Obviously setting up the Delver to flip, but you know, we're not exactly thrilled about that. Alright, well. Opponent takes the damage. No Spell Pierce, please. Actually, wait. You know what? They can't counter a creature spell with just 1 mana. They could bounce it or something, it's true, and having it be on the stack and get bounced would feel really bad, but they reveal an Archmage's Charm. Okay. Opponent just gets in with everything. Yeah, well. They have at least 1 bounce spell, folks, I can tell you that, because they're not just taking damage from Rotting Regisaur. Okay. Combat. Let's get in. Yep. Whole squad. Wow. Okay. Well, we'll end the turn. We are very much crushing this race, folks. And our opponent can chump with Fairy Seer to help even things out. But remember, they're attacking with a 3-2, but we're attacking with a 2-3 lifelink here, right? All right, well. We'll get rid of your Delver then. Opponent taps out to draw cards, so we're going to go ahead and take advantage of the window and get rid of their Delver. That makes this race even more firmly in our favor. Slitherblade coming on down, sure. And another Slitherblade. Yeah. You got it. Rotting Regisaur. Causing us to discard. We get in with the team. Slitherblade chumps the 7-6. They take 2. Phyrexian Obliterator. Your go. Kais, your go. This has got to be a little bit of an ominous board, I think. And yeah, sure enough, Kais is like, forget this, man. I'm moving on to the next game in the queue, and I don't blame them. So, GG. GG. Alright, folks, here we are up against Phyrexian. And good luck, Phyrexian. We're going to hang on to this, and hopefully our opponent will be trying to do some very small creature things, and we will punish them a bit. Alright, I think this qualifies. If they have a Ajani Pridemate or something like that this turn, it's a little less good, but, you know. Alright, well, that's probably qualifies as or something. Yeah, unfortunately the Cries are much less good in this matchup than they are against, like, the, I was thinking it was going to be the Heliod combo deck, you know? And the Cry the Carnarium very, very good there. In the Angels matchup, it's not great, you know? But okay. Phyrexian Obliterator, come on down. Not ideal if they have more angel-y things. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. 100% fine there. Hey, yes. Very good. So, combat, get in. Unsurprisingly takes it. Do we just leave the Resplendent Angel? Let's do that. Let's just get rid of the Bishop of Wings. Get down a Rotting Regisaur. Get down a Hive of the Eye Tyrant. And pass. Oh, Blossoming Stands. Gain a life. Sure. Righteous Valkyrie. Oh, crud. Alright. Well, we're back to having a little bit of trouble, at least. Swamp can be discarded. Okay. And combat. Get in. It's a lot of damage. But our opponent stands to gain a lot of life. So it's probably not an amount of damage they're truly worried about. So yeah, I suppose. Let's Cry of the Carnarium. Get rid of the Soul Warden. Opponent has another Resplendent Angel. No! Okay. Okay, but we're actually... I think it was better for them to level up their... Yeah, okay. Yeah, our opponent maybe realized their mistake and scoops them up. I think they were better off here. Resplendent Angel has 6 mana until the end of turn. It gets +2/+2 and lifelink. So they could attack with Resplendent Angel, gain 5 life while lowering us 5 life. And, you know, our life total is relevant here. And they would make a 4/4 Flying Vigilance at the end of turn, which would gain them 4 more life. So they would gain a total of 9 life and go to, like, they were at, what, 11? Go back to 20? And then they just kill us the next turn? Yeah, I think casting the Resplendent Angel was just incorrect. And Pi de Kaiankra realizes that we can activate the Hive of the Eye Tyrant here and just get in, and they've got to do some amount of chump blocking and everything, and just decides it's not worth it. I actually think they still might have been able to win here, but whatever. I'll take the win. I'll take the win. GG. We are back. We are back. And yeah, the deck did fine, folks. I've been fooling around with it some. So there have been a couple of different versions of the deck that I've played around with, and some of them have won more than others. This particular version is, you know, I recorded 4 games for it. I'm not sure. I try and keep the videos around a half hour or so, so I'm not sure how many of them we'll get to see, but I won against Mono Red. I think that's a pretty good matchup with all his lifelink, you know. We lost to Blue Eye Control, which I think is going to be a pretty regular thing. I think we're going to struggle against Control pretty well. I was a little salty in that Blue Eye Control loss, but, you know, it is what it is. Then we won against Mono Blue Tempo, and we won against Angels, but admittedly, I think they punted that victory away. So if the Angels player had done what I think they needed to do, and admittedly, we might have been able to disrupt that if we had drawn a removal spell on our turn. Could have made things difficult on our opponent, and we don't know what we would have drawn because they scooped. But if they had done what they were supposed to do, I think we would have went win 2, lose 2 with this deck, which is a little inconvenient because we didn't, you know, we saw one mono red deck, but really the rest of them were kind of more tempo and control-ing, you know. The Angels deck, I guess, is more mid-rangey, which traditionally we're going to do well against because the Phyrexian Obliterator makes, you know, forces our opponent to sacrifice things. But, you know, our opponent had a really, really good draw and stuff, so I don't know. It's quite possible that, you know, the deck still needs to be improved on and everything, and I would love to hear you folks' suggestions. I love playing Phyrexian Obliterator, and I love the utility and stuff that Sap Vitality gives. So I would love to see what you folks have to say about it, and see what changes you might make. That said, I appreciate everybody who watched, and let me know down in the comments below, and subscribe if you made it this far. Darn it, appreciate that. Appreciate that. You folks have a wonderful day.